Baking Blind with Penny Melville-Brown. Mince pies and sausage rolls with rough puff pastry. Hello again. Today I'm just going to make some quick rough puff pastry to make some sausage rolls and some mince pies. So first thing I've got is a block of butter which is absolutely frozen, straight out of the freezer, and my grater, and in here I've got the flour. I'm just going to grate that straight into the bowl, which will take a little time. I'm just getting towards the very end of this butter, and as I've been grating it in on the largest cutting on the box grater, I've been knocking it into the bowl and just cutting it through the flour with a palette knife. And here's the last bit, and it's just, you can probably see that it's starting to get really a bit melty now as we get onto these dreg ends that I've been handling. And as soon as I've got this in, I will be adding a little cold water to bring it into a loose dough, and then popping it in a bag in the fridge so it can chill for at least half an hour. There's the last little bits going in. Scrape that off. Just cut it in. Okay, so here's the pastry. It's slightly crumblier than with a short crust, and as you'll read on the recipe that I've put online, the proportions of fat to flour are different from a short crust pastry. So there it goes into the bag, hopefully. Get those little crumbs in as well. And that's going to go in the fridge for half an hour. So the pastry's been in the fridge for half an hour. I'm just giving it a light roll, trying to make it into a rectangle shape. And then I'm going to fold 1/3 over, probably a third, not necessarily perfect, 1/3 over, press it down at the edges, and I'm trying to create a sort of rectangle. And that is going to go back in the fridge now for another half hour. Then I'll repeat that all again and we'll show you what sort of pastry we're getting out at the end. Welcome back. I've rolled out half the pastry as thin as I can, and now I'm going to start cutting out some lids for the mince pies. For the base of the mince pies I'm using short crust pastry because that's going to be firmer, and just cut down the fat a little bit. Oh, I'm done. So these are the bases, all well chilled. This is homemade mincemeat. So I'm just going to carefully try and get it into each of those, and then cap off with a little puff pastry lid. Not being too generous because otherwise it'll all boil out because the sugar gets so hot. So this is just a quick whiz of egg with a little tiny bit of milk. It's actually the egg yolk, one of the egg yolks left over from the royal icing. And that's just going to be used to stick that little lid. On there. They're not going to be beautiful, and but they're going to be very edible. Okay, those are all done. So I've just given a quick glaze on the top with some egg and made a little hole in the top of each to let out the steam. And now I'm going to pop them in the oven for about 20 minutes and see how they go. That's at gas mark 7. So I'm using the other half of the rough puff pastry to knock up some quick sausage rolls. I've got some really good quality sausage meat here from my butcher, and underneath there's a little onion that's just been sweated off in some balsamic vinegar. Then I'm going to roll them up in the pastry, pop them on my tray here, and in they go into the oven once the mince pies come out. There's the mince pies just coming out of the oven. Now I'm going to dust them with icing sugar. Actually caster sugar, because that gives a bit more texture. And that's them done too. And here are the sausage rolls. They're pretty hot. And they're, ooh, I can hear them being flaky. You can just hear the pastry crunching. And that's really what this recipe was all about. And I can smell the onion and the balsamic, and it smells fabulous. Delicious. I think these are too hot for me to get off. So that's all those mince pies and all these sausage rolls from one batch of rough puff pastry. Enjoy, just in time for Christmas. You can download this and all the other recipes from my blog at www.disabilitydynamics.co.uk.